Hello, everybody. My name is Christie Szpyrka with Reaching Better Alternatives, and welcome to my first ever episode of Conversations with Christie. I'm really excited about this. I also co-host a podcast called Cosmic Design, where we talk about all things astrology and human design. And over the course of that journey of growing the podcast, I've been feeling really called to create my own podcast. So I'm going to keep it really simple and basic and share it here on YouTube and just play. Just share what's on my heart, what's on my mind, and what I want to share with the world. My plan is to keep these episodes at about 26 minutes because that's my birthday. And without boundaries, I tend to just prattle on for far too long. And we all need a little bit of boundaries, right? So for this first episode, I just wanted to come on and say hello, introduce myself, who I am, and what it is that I do for people, and what my heart is called to share with the world on this, my new podcast, Conversations with Christie. So, um, first and foremost, I have been practicing as a massage therapist for the last 12 and a half years. And over the course of my career as a massage therapist, I have learned probably 12 different other healing modalities, ranging from Reiki, becoming a yoga teacher, tarot, astrology, EFT, on and on and on. My company, my brand is Reaching Better Alternatives. And the reason for this is I want to offer as many alternatives for people as possible to help them on their healing journey. Because what works for one person is not going to work for another. And it's also a matter of timing. What works for you now might not work for you a month from now. So I just want to have a lot of tools in my tool belt to help people along their healing journey, give them all the options that they might need. Of course, not everything I offer is going to be suitable for all people, and that's okay too. This journey really started out for me. I was 20 something year old thinking I was cool and gonna go on tour and do all the things. And I was gonna sling some illicit drugs as I was going from show to show, following some different bands. Um, and so I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. However, I ended up getting arrested because I learned I am not cool enough to be a drug dealer. And the universe really showed me where I belong. And through the course of being arrested and the fallout as a result of it, I was led to find massage school, and it was so life-changing for me. And Ganesh is the Hindu god of the remover of obstacles, but he will also place obstacles in people's path if they're on the wrong path so that they go on the correct path instead. And he really showed up for me in a really big way. I talk about this in my book, Women Living in Alignment, that made international bestseller a couple years ago. And so through the course of going to massage school and dealing the ramifications of becoming arrested and getting a felony, I created a lot of extra obstacles in my life. Um, legal obstacles around being able to be licensed professionally. But I'm very dedicated and determined, and so I persevered. I figured it out. I made it work, and I eventually made my way to Philadelphia because it just called to me. It's a kind of a grimy city, and I kind of love that about it. Um, and so I've been living here for 10 years, actually, 10 years and a few months, and it's been an amazing journey. Um, yeah. So anyway, um, so I moved to Philadelphia. I've been doing all the things, learning all the things. And then somewhere along the way, my mom was diagnosed with a neurological disorder. And she was given about 5 years left to live. And when she finally passed, I was left feeling really guilty that there wasn't more that I could do for her. I felt very limited. Right? Like I'm very good at what I do as a massage therapist. I was just learning these new energy healing tools. But I just always felt like I was called to do more. And so that's another reason why I kept learning all these modalities. Like, how do I pull it all together? Like, how can I help people heal? Because I just really want to help people heal in a way that my mother was never able to. From day one in massage school, we were told the issues are in the tissues. And when it comes to neurological disease, if you don't let yourself feel, you're not going to let yourself feel. It's just one way that trapped emotions can manifest as a physical issue in the body. And so taking the time to do that deep inner work and heal ourselves will impact our health in so many ways. But, as much as I'm into spirituality and all of that, I take a very practical and scientific approach to it. Energy is very real. We want to acknowledge the energy, but we still are earthly beings in physical bodies living on a solid planet. We still are subjected to the rules of physics and mathematics. And so by blending spirituality with the scientific method and a practical understanding of how we can make things work, we can achieve amazing results. And so as I've gone along my journey of growing my practice and um, eventually healing myself from OCD and intrusive thoughts, which we'll talk about another time, I began to understand how bringing in science with woo can be so impactful, and learning these other modalities and learning how to regulate our nervous system, and heal ourselves, and recognizing that our intrusive thoughts are just our subconscious mind's way of bringing our fears to the surface. And if we can learn to look at them in a safe way, in a supported way, we can heal them. And I think this is true of just about any disease. I mean, there's so many documentaries where they talk about people just like randomly, or not randomly, suddenly healing cancer, going in for a scan one day, having this amazing revelation during a meditation or a Reiki session or something like that. And then a week later, they go back and their scans are clear. Like, there's hundreds upon hundreds of stories like this. Now, it doesn't always get to happen so easily for people. Usually there's a process that you have to go through. There's layers of an onion that you have to get through. And then there's the idea that our body wants to feel safe. It wants to feel secure. And so what'll happen is we will create an identity, we'll create a reality around the life that we're currently living. And as we try to grow an awareness around that and try to shift that, our body, our brain, our subconscious is like, no, 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 no. You're trying to change too much, because change takes energy. The more energy we use, the harder it is to survive. Our brain wants to keep us alive, so it wants us to conserve energy. So it doesn't want us to change. So learning how to create feelings of safety as we embark on this healing journey and learn to change at the pace that is safe for us allows us to heal, right? That looks different for everybody. Different things affect different people differently. There's a time and a place for everything, right? I have clients come in and they'll say, I've been doing X, Y, and Z for years and years and years. And I finally showed up here and now my arm is fixed. Why didn't I find you years ago? And I stop and I remind them that years ago, this massage might not have fixed them. This Reiki session might not have healed their anxiety. Everything they did up to that point was part of the healing journey. This point in time, this session that they just experienced was finally just the final piece of the puzzle. So when you want to just give credit to that one thing that you did that finally fixed everything, you have to remember that it's everything that you did that brought you to that point that allowed that one thing to finally work. Because it's not that it was just that one thing, it was just the final piece to the puzzle. And so when we are engaging in this healing journey and our body and our brain wants to keep us safe, we can sometimes create more anxiety, more pain, because that's our reality. That's what we're used to being in. It's like a muscle memory, right? It's a neurological pathway that's been built. And it takes energy to fix that. It takes energy to change that. It takes energy to heal that. And if you go too fast, you might have like this amazing awareness, and then you're going to fall really hard a little while later, and you're going to be like, what the heck just happened? And so that's why oftentimes on the healing journey, people can rise and then have really hard days, and they can rise and they can have really hard days. But that's just part of the normal process, because we rise, we have safety, more comes to the surface to be healed. We have to then regulate our nervous system to allow this healing to become deeper so we can go to the next level. So this is where I have discovered is my gift. I help people on their healing journeys navigate the ups and downs of life, coming into tune with their natural energy flow, their alignment, understanding their healing process, and providing tools along the way so that as you're going through the ups and downs of your healing process, you understand the ebbs and flows, and it doesn't feel so high and so low because you understand it's just the journey. You stop fighting about it. You allow yourself to surrender to the flow. Now, this is something that I have experienced firsthand. In human design, I'm a 3-5 generator, the martyr heretic, the great experimenter. And so as I was learning these healing modalities, there was like this guilt that I was holding on to, that like, why don't I have all these problems that I need to heal? How can I be a healer if I don't know how to heal? So, as the great experimenter, I created pain for myself to heal myself from it. Now, granted, there was some childhood trauma that came to the surface that definitely needed to be dealt with, but I made things a lot harder for myself. Growing up, my mom was always like, why do you have to make things so hard? Still don't know the answer to that question, but it is part of my reality. And what I came to realize was that I didn't need to let it be so hard. But it took that journey of going through that healing process to come to that realization, to be able to take that kind of accountability, to understand how I created that situation for myself, and then learn from it. Would I say it was worth it? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, do we really, like, as much as I try to find the lesson in the pain, because I think pain can be our greatest teacher, I also think that we don't need unnecessary pain, right? Like, part of the gift of life is the ability to struggle, right? You don't truly appreciate things if you don't struggle for it a little bit. Like, anything worth having is worth working for, right? But do we have to make it so hard that we are literally like sobbing in a corner on our floor somewhere? Absolutely not, right? Um, it's just not that I had some dark moments, to say the least. Um, well, like I said, that'll be a whole other episode. You'll have to excuse my dog clapping around in the background with her nails. She's on steroids right now, so she's very antsy. Um, and so as we go through our healing journey and we start to rise our vibration, we start to encounter what's called the upper limit problem. And this is a term coined by Gay Hendricks in his book called the Gay Leap, the Big Leap. And it's basically that process that I just described, right? We start to get comfortable, and then when we try to rise, our body wants us to get back to being comfortable, so we'll induce stress to keep us in that level. But by creating emotional awareness, creating acceptance around this process, we can surrender to it and release its control over us, right? In my triple A healing method, we grow awareness, we accept it for what it is, and we acquiesce, we surrender, we allow it to just be. And this has been a really, it's so funny. I've been talking about this for years, and I talked about it with like so many different things, and it's just watching my understanding grow over the years and these little downloads I've gotten over the years and pulling it all together to this point where I am now. It's just really exciting. I'm really excited about it. Like I feel so confident in the knowledge that I've gained from my life experience, from my healing journey, from witnessing other people and being there for them on their healing journeys. I'm ready to break out and share this knowledge with the world in a really big way, which is why I decided to start conversations with Christie. And so what I've discovered is that my purpose in life is to activate people into their purpose by navigating the ups and downs and surrendering to radical self-acceptance. We find our place in life. We step into our purpose. And we have to understand, like, not everybody's going to be Taylor Swift. Not everybody's going to be the president of the United States. But your neighbor, your cousin, the guy at the corner store, your pizza delivery guy, your Uber driver, your librarian, your teacher, the people picking up the garbage on the street. Every single person in this world is just as important as the next person, which means that they are not important at all. So Taylor Swift is not important because she is just part of the collective, just like you are, just like your neighbor is and your family is. And when we can like understand this and accept our place in life and affirm our place in life and figure it out what it is we're meant to do and find joy in that, our purpose. Oh my God. There's just so much peace that can be had from that, right? There's so much less struggle. And that'll allow you to raise your vibration to maybe be the next Taylor Swift or Madonna or whoever, if that's what you want. We have to accept ourselves so deeply, so radically in order to get to that next level. So I help people with radical self-acceptance. I help them find empowered alignment by just accepting their humanness, finding peace with what it means to be alive. One of my darkest moments, I was having suicidal ideations from intrusive thoughts. I don't think I was really suicidal. I think it was just intrusive thoughts, to be completely honest. But when you can't recognize it for what it is, it can like consume you. And it can be really freaking scary. And so I went to my partner and I shared with him how I was feeling. I allowed myself to be vulnerable because he is my rock. He grounds me and he has an amazing perspective on life. And he said to me, the fact that we're alive is such a miracle. And all the vastness of space and this time and this place is just, it is miraculous. If you really think about it mathematically, it's 1 in 1 billion, million, trillion, bazillion. We should try to hold on to that for as long as we possibly can because we really don't know. I mean, I like to think that this death is just another level of consciousness, but we don't truly know. So even though life is really hard at times, we should try to hold on to every minute of it as much as we possibly can. And that really like, ugh, got me. And I got to say, after that moment, I've really come to peace with life. And I don't like anytime suicidal intrusive thoughts come in my brain, I'm able to just be like, nope, it's just an intrusive thought. I love my life. I am so grateful for my life. Thank God. And so through these conversations I've had with my partner and witnessing people, I have a lot of things to say about how societal conditioning has affected our ability to traverse our healing journey. I am going to be introducing a concept on another conversation with Christie about something called the warrior wound, something that I am calling the warrior wound. I'm really excited about it. I'm also figuring out how I want to evolve my practice and how I want to work with people. I like had this huge download today. Ah, you can't see it because I have my pretty flowers in the background, but I have this huge poster board of all of the things that I want to create in my business, how I want to, what offerings I want to create to work with people from the low end to the high end and everything in between. You know, I've been on this journey of self-discovery and self-growth as an entrepreneur, as well as on a personal journey of growth. And I've been really like kind of lost in the sauce is like, well, what do I do with people? Like I've been so used to being a massage therapist, right? That identity shift, it takes energy to shift that identity. I've had to really do some work around that to see myself as more than just that, which is just as important. But there's been this calling to do more. And so I've had to accept that about myself, let go of the fear around that, and be willing to step into my purpose more deeply, more fully from that place of heart-centeredness and do the things that I want to do with people to help them heal. Because I believe that when we heal ourselves, we heal the world, right? We think of the world, we don't separate ourselves from the planet, right? Because we are of the planet. Our physical bodies are physical representations of the Earth's chi, and the sun magnetizes us into life. We are of the planet, and we are destroying it because we are out of alignment with it. So if we can come back into alignment with ourselves, we can come back into alignment with the planet and we can heal our home. I firmly, firmly believe that we can heal the world once we heal ourselves, but we have to start with ourselves. And from there, we lead by example and we spread that ripple of healing throughout the world and encourages the next person to step into their healing journey. And so the big project that I'm really, really excited about is I am producing a collaborative book called the The Great Awakening. Empowered stories of self-discovery that inspire hope and courage. And I am collecting authors, stories from healers and feelers and spiritual leaders of their awakening and what that can look like in all its iterations so that they can share their message with the world. Because so many people are afraid of spirituality or confused about spirituality or what it means to live in alignment. Because we've been so separated from what it means to be in alignment, we've forgotten what that looks like. And so by sharing our stories with other people, we create that safety for them to step into alignment with themselves. And so this book is going to inspire people. It's going to help them be courageous. And it's going to deepen the ripple effect of healing around the world. That is my mission. That is my goal. And this next book is going to be a huge part of that. And, I don't think it's going to be as amazing as Harry Potter or the Bible or whatever, but I think it's going to play a really important part in some people's lives. I have faith in that. I want to do, well, even if I didn't have faith in that, I would still do it, right? Even those finger paintings you do with children are just as important as this book, right? Because it's about following your heart, following your bliss, doing what is meant for you, what brings you joy, what you're called to create in this earth, in this life, for other people to come together and enjoy, even if it's just you and your child with that finger painting. Even if only one person reads this book, it's still one person that got to read 13 amazing stories of self-discovery. And hopefully that'll inspire that one person to inspire the next person, right? Because I have this idea that I like want to save the world. And then I get caught in the, well, don't aggrandize. You can't save the whole world. But what if I could by just working on my one little piece? And then I came to understand that ripple effect. I can heal the world by healing myself. And when we really understand that and we embody that, we encourage other people to do the same, and that will heal the world. But I can't shoulder that responsibility alone. I can only just work on myself. And I can ask all of you to join me for the ride. So I think that's a good place to leave off. I am really excited that I am being courageous and stepping up and sharing this and creating this podcast. Who knows where it'll go? Who knows how far it'll reach? If only one person listens, thank you for listening. It's been a pleasure and an honor, and I so appreciate you for taking the time to listen to me. And hopefully more than just one person will listen, and hopefully more than just one person will be inspired. Yeah, let's just leave it there. Namaste, my friends.